Speaking of the best, none better than Matt Fitzpatrick this week on Hilton Head. The 28-year-old Englishman emerging from an all-world leaderboard and a playoff eventually with Jordan Spieth. A tap-in birdie at the 75th hole of the week, enough to earn Fitz his second career win to go along with that triumph last year at the U.S. Open. On an island of his own, Matt Fitzpatrick victorious at Harbour Town. And for more on another thriller at Harbour Town, we head into 18 Tower, where the leading voices of the game are standing by. Nantz, Trevor Immelman joining us now. Gentlemen, it is always a privilege to spend some time. And first, I'd just like to offer a moment here to exhale. What a stretch run we had there. Everybody with a chance late. And then it's Matt Fitzpatrick in the end emerging from the pack. Jim, first word goes to you here. How do you wrap your head around those final few hours?
Yeah, it looked like all the while there was going to be a playoff at the end, and Trevor kind of foreshadowed this. He started talking about how often we get one here. So once he started talking about it, I kind of figured this was just going to naturally happen. I didn't know it was going to go
I'm
3
sorry
holes.
about that.
That's fine. I like playoffs. I love the drama. But it was tense. I have to say, as a fan, I feel my hands getting a little sweaty, and I feel nervous as like Jordan standing over a putt to send it to a playoff at the 72nd, or when Matt Fitzpatrick's hitting a shot like he did on the last hole of the match. It was just an incredible 9-iron, Trevor, what he did there to win it.
Yeah, what a great shot. It was interesting second 9 because for the most part we were thinking it's Cantlay Spieth. It's going to be the same kind of duel as what we had last year when they had the playoff together. And Fitzpatrick was just kind of hanging in there, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere he birdies 15 and 16 to get right in it. But what a shot on that third playoff hole with the 9-iron just to tap in range. I mean, it is a great feeling when you're walking up to the green and you get nearby and you see that there's not much left in it. Brilliant shot.
They'll remember that shot around here, Joe, forever. That's going to go down in the annals of this golf tournament, which is now in its 55th year. This was 55. That will rank right up there with the hold bunker shot by Matt Kuchar, the chip in right of the green. That was one of Davis Love's victories here. There have been some big finishes, but that's going to rank right up there.
It always seems to give us something here at Harbour Town. Going back here on Fitzpatrick, no real precedent prior to last year's U.S. Open, and then hit or miss in his results this season. Trevor, how do you believe he calls upon these types of performances in the faces of these types of fields?
Well, Joe, look, he's a high-class player and has been for a long time. He's been a very consistent performer over on the DP World Tour, has a number of wins over there. And then last year we saw when he came over the line at the U.S. Open, really started to show that he could step up in the biggest moments on the biggest stages and snatch a title. This year, like you say, you're right. You know, the form hasn't been that great, but he's been fighting a neck injury. And last week we started to see the old Matt Fitzpatrick again with that tie for 10th at the Masters. So he was coming in here with some good feels, having love in this place, and with a bit of form with that top 10 at the Masters. So not surprised really to see him play well, and I look for him to kick on now with the remainder of these designated events and major championships for the rest of the season.
I think it's worth offering a thought here on Jordan Spieth as well. The putting inside 10 feet, always that lingering voice in the back of his head. And he was able to put that voice out of his head for the first almost 4 full days of this tournament. So solid throughout this week. And then a pair of misses, as we see one here in the playoff. Jim, that aspect of Jordan's game always somewhere between asset and liability. But his inability to conjure in a moment like that tells you what about Jordan Spieth right now?
Well, I think Jordan is going to take a lot away from this week. His ball striking was superb. He made a super clutch putt on the 72nd hole to force the playoff. But he's going to, I think the lingering feeling for him is going to be, Joe, the fact that he had 2 chances to win it. And the first one especially was a pretty good putt on the first playoff hole. And it singed the edge. I thought it was going in. I was about to call it. But then you get to the second playoff hole, and it's just all there for the taking, and it had such a similar look to the one he had just missed by a sliver. And I don't think that was the speed was off and everything. I think that one really bruised him a little bit, that he had those 2 chances to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, both putts on 18 in the playoff and then in 17, when it's a foot and a half from the hole, like you say, you're ready to call it. I mean, it's right in there, hanging into that right side, and just at the end, the grain ate it up, and obviously wasn't meant to be. What a shot on the 18th in the third playoff hole from Fitzpatrick.
Opportunity both seized and squandered here on Sunday. A big thanks to our winning pair, Nantz, Trevor Immelman. as they pair up and head to Zurich for another exciting weekend on CBS. Thank you, guys.
Joe, thank you very much. Good to be with you.
And here's a look at that upcoming schedule on CBS, the Zurich Classic. Teams of two as we get a different format look coming down in the Big Easy, and then the Mexico Open with some big name commits as well. Jon Rahm expected in the field, that beginning April 27th and then May 4th. Elevated once again at the Wells Fargo. And don't forget, for all your latest needs in the game of golf, it's the tailor-made TP5 and TP5X golf ball, the premier golf ball in the game. Scan that QR code right now to learn more.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.